Well, there's a new team in town addressing the opioid epidemic by going after the people who commit prescription drug fraud. It's called the Tactical Diversion Squad, led by the DEA.
And their #1 goal is to stop people from getting, using, and selling pills illegally. 10 at your side's Brandi Cummings has more on their plans to divert drugs. Brandi?
Tom, Anita, prescription drug crimes are considered a significant problem in Virginia, and that's why the DEA is aggressively working to put a stop to it. A local defense attorney says he's seeing the feds become more involved in local drug cases, and sometimes that can be beneficial.
If a doctor is diverting controlled substances in the minds of the DEA, the doctor is no different than a drug dealer operating in a white coat.
The Drug Enforcement Administration not mincing words about physicians committing prescription drug fraud.
What we're seeing now is 4 out of 5 new heroin users are first becoming addicted to prescription opioids.
Those addictions having deadly consequences.
In 2016, there were more drug overdose deaths than there were deaths in the whole Vietnam War. So it's a huge problem.
The DEA now working to tackle it head on, especially in Virginia, where there's been an increase in what's called pharmaceutical diversion. The newly functioning Tactical Diversion Squad is a special team operating in the Richmond-Hampton Roads area for the first time. Their goal is simple: to make sure drugs are used for their lawful purpose and not diverted to be used for something else. Squad Supervisor Todd Pro.
We have been very successful at prosecuting these cases in federal court, and so that's part of our enforcement strategy.
So far, this new team, fully staffed just 4 months ago, has already handled nearly 24 cases. A recently finalized case involves a Southampton County physician. Dr. James Crouch was a board-certified ER doctor practicing at the Southampton Memorial Hospital in Franklin until last year when he was arrested for prescription drug fraud. According to this affidavit, in September 2017, a witness told the DEA Crouch forged another doctor's signature to get drugs. Crouch gave the written prescription to the DEA witness who wasn't his patient and had never even been seen by him. The witness was to get the prescriptions filled, keep some, and return others to Crouch himself. Crouch pled guilty to the crimes in December, sentenced last week to 30 days in a halfway house and 3 years probation. Although not talking about this case specifically, Pro said the majority of diversion in the Commonwealth happens through prescription fraud.
It's quite a significant problem here in Virginia.
Andy Protegero has been a defense attorney for 3 decades, often hired to handle drug cases, but says he's seeing a big change in some of the cases he handles.
To see it much more now than we ever did a year ago, 2 or 3 years ago, tells us that the feds have stepped up whatever they're doing. They are looking at cases or seeking cases more than they did before.
He explained when you compare the federal system to the state system, there could be more favorable circumstances in one versus the other.
If they're guilty and they end up in the federal system, there can be a benefit to the defendant that they can get help that they normally could not get in the state system. Just does not exist.
Obviously, the various circumstances make a difference. Protegero admits in some cases, federal prosecution can be more harsh, but the potential benefits include things like hospital treatment for addiction, supervised release, and opportunities to obtain a college degree.
When you look at the two and you see what can actually give you the therapies, the assistance, and the education, the federal system does have the money to do that.
Pro also admits there are benefits in the federal system, but says it's simply part of their enforcement strategy to ultimately stop the illegal use of prescription drugs.
If that gets people to comply with the law, then that's what we're looking for.
Now, in another newer procedure for the agency, the DEA is doing extensive community outreach about the opioid epidemic and what they're now trying to do to stop it. They develop a free online curriculum for middle and high schoolers. Plus, the DEA is hosting a National Prescription Take-Back Day next month. We've posted information on all of that right now on wavy.com. I'm Brandi Cummings, 10 on your side.